Coworkers are not your friends. I know this is a hard truth, especially for Americans that call literally everybody friends that they meet. And while I really like the energy, in toxic workplaces, this is detrimental to remember. So here in this episode are 9 truths, 9 things that you need to reconsider about your coworkers so that you get out safe and sane without losing trust in humanity, okay? Welcome to the show. My name is Pilar Rosa. I'm glad you found me here on Corporate Warriors. Now let's go. Look, especially in toxic workplaces, you might think we are in this together, so we're on the same team against a toxic boss. But this is not actually accurate enough to make an important decision like sharing your fears and sharing your point of view with them on that alone. Okay, let me tell you why. It's because the incentives are not the same. Look, everybody in this workplace just tries to survive, or they even try to get a promotion, or they try to maintain their salary, or they're just trying to protect their self-worth or self-esteem by trying to make this work no matter what. So even if they do vent, sometimes don't vent with them, okay? Don't do anything that might be used against you, and don't trust coworkers in toxic workplaces because you just do not know their full intentions and their beliefs and their mindset. We never do, unfortunately. So don't walk into this trap, because everybody, especially when we're in survival mode, we choose ourselves first. Your coworkers will too. So don't think they're your friends that would help you when you're down. If they feel they might get down from that as well, from helping you, they won't. Number 2, fear overrides values. That is exactly the thing, right? Like those people, your coworkers, you might like them because when you have a coffee date or when you go to lunch together, they're funny. They like the same topics than you do. They vote for the same political party or whatever it is. You talk about justice, about your values. Your values might align with those people, but not everybody lives in integrity with their values. And in workplaces that are toxic, survival mode is turned on for everybody, which means that fear often overrides their value system because they think I need to survive first, and then in this realm I kind of use my values whenever it's feasible. So don't think that because you have the same values they will protect you or help you or anything like that, okay? Everybody's afraid of losing their job. Literally, one coworker once told me HR just wants to keep their job too, and they were right. That's exactly how it goes. So when you're in survival, fear overrides values very, very often. Does it mean they're bad people? I don't know, but they don't live in integrity with themselves. It's a kind of them problem, but you make it yours by thinking that you can fully trust them and that they are your friends. They need to pay their mortgage. They need to look out for themselves first. That's what we all do in survival mode, okay? So perhaps they are even afraid of being associated with you or of being associated of helping you, or they have a fear of speaking up because they've seen other people get on pips for speaking up, even though it was the right thing to do. So they will not reproduce it because they want to survive first. So even if they like you, they might really stay quiet even in moments where it really, really matters. So number 3 is kind of the conclusion. Remember that no one is going to come to save you. You will have to save yourself. Some people, depending on countries, have kind of fortunate situations, even unions. But let me be clear, even people in unions that have union protection experience toxic bosses, and they suffer just as much as you do. So just in general, especially for your coworkers, don't think that if something goes wrong, somebody will help me, somebody will save me, somebody will step in. They very, very likely won't. And even if you have a union, they have kind of limited abilities too. It really depends from case to case, yes, but don't think your coworkers are your friends just because you go through the same stuff, okay? Most people just won't take that risk. Number 4, information is currency, especially in toxic workplaces, okay? So when you share your feelings, when you share your opinions, frustrations, doubts with somebody, even though they might first not want to use it against you, you don't know what happens behind the scenes. And if your toxic boss reaches out to them and puts them in a corner and puts them on the spot and tells them, you have to tell me now or else something horrible will happen, they might share that. Or worse things come together, your coworkers all of a sudden understand that, hey, if I team up with my toxic boss, I'm safe. So I'm going to share all of the things that my little friend told me in the lunch break. So don't even get yourself in that situation in the first place, okay? Number 5, triangulation is real. I've experienced it. Many of my clients experience it. It's a horrible, horrible thing that toxic bosses do. But it is really real. And if you've experienced it, you know that you cannot trust anybody in a toxic workplace. But that's just proving my point, right? Just don't. Just use your family, your friends, and talk with them in confidence. Make sure that there's this protection of confidentiality where you tell them, please don't share with anybody, because we don't know who somebody else might know. We don't know if like the children of your toxic boss play soccer with the children of the neighbor. We don't know. So be careful around sharing what you want to share. If you do it intentionally, but don't just share things, especially with your coworkers, for the sake of getting it out of your system. Triangulation is real and you need to be very careful out there. Number 6, alignment may shift overnight. A coworker that used to be on your side, that felt like a friend to you, all of a sudden is not anymore. How come? Well, you don't know what's happening in the back ends, right? Your toxic boss might signal that actually their approach changed. I've literally heard somebody tell me that a toxic boss told them that actually wasn't them. It was their mentor who told them to do all of those horrible things. So it's not even their fault. So what happens here, okay? The people in itself are naive, but unconsciously so. Why? Because they want to believe their toxic boss. They want to believe that the world is better than it is. They want to believe that perhaps you did something wrong, because it would alleviate them from their own survival mechanisms. If it were true, and your toxic boss was right about you, that you're absolutely horrible and, crazy and whatever they say about you. If that were true, the situation would not be as bad. So people have like this bias towards believing the stories of the toxic boss, and the toxic boss knows that and they abuse it. So perhaps their leader signal changed, perhaps they started to say what they want to do in the future, and they kind of transferred that image that they're not that bad of a leader and they should just trust them and be happy and work together and everything's gonna be fine. So the alignment can literally shift overnight. Number 7, proximity creates false intimacy. Very, very often it's like you work together daily, you work on all these projects, you share stress and you vent to each other. That kind of could signal to you that you can trust this other person, but there's a big difference between going through a situation together and actual loyalty. So do not confuse the two. Number 8, silence is actual strategy. And it's not even wrong. Silence is strategy in a toxic workplace. So your coworkers might know that, be aware of that, and use that. So they do not speak up, even when you're misrepresented, even when the narrative has changed around a project, even if they were literally sitting next to you, seeing you work your ass off for a project that your toxic boss takes credit for in a room that they are in. They will not speak up. Very, very unlikely will they put themselves into the position of being targeted. Why would they? So they want to stay safe. They do not want to get involved. They want to have nothing to do with your toxic boss's vendetta against you. So again, closeness does not equal loyalty. And silence is a valid strategy. So you can be disappointed in them, but let's rather not see them as your friend in the first place so that you cannot feel disappointed as much later. That makes any sense. And lastly, number 9, you need strategy. You do not need emotional dependence and you don't need an emotional support buddy. If you do, and I say this very, very, I know, bluntly, but lovingly, get a therapist if you need emotional support working through that. Don't do it with your coworkers. Get a therapist or a coach. Whatever it is for you, use your family if they have good advice, if they went through something similar. Make sure that you talk with somebody that is confidential, that understands the situation because they experienced something similar before. And don't think that emotional dependence will make anything better or will make somebody, especially a coworker, your friend. So get that support outside of your toxic workplace so that you can actually get support strategically navigating through that situation, instead of depending on a coworker who might put a knife in your back for their own survival's sake. It will really, literally relieve you from so much heartache and pain later on. I've seen many of my clients being really devastated, not just because of their toxic boss, but because of coworkers that they considered friends that afterwards did not speak up for them, help them, or anything. So please don't be that person. Learn from other people's mistakes and come out stronger on the other side. If you're ready to actually commit building momentum for yourself, I have a free recorded workshop that you can do do to regulate your system and then create a plan for you where you want to go, and then a step-by-step kind of execution map that you will do within it. And yeah, you just can go from there and start actually building momentum towards what you do want, instead of trying to survive something that clearly doesn't serve you. Okay, I'm here on the other side rooting for you. Make sure that you hit the like and subscribe button if this episode was helpful, or share with somebody that could really use the insights. I see you back next time. Until then, stay strong.
Oh, rise up, rise up. It's your time to break free. Let the truth echo loud. Let it sing through your soul. You're here to build a life, not just survive the grind. Step out from the shadows, release what holds you behind. This toxic boss, a reminder cruel but divine. A mirror reflecting what's been lost and what you can find. You're more than the labels, you're more than the doubt. You're here to flourish, to laugh, to shout. So let the walls fall down, let the past just be a blessing in disguise, birthing possibilities. Oh, you were never meant to shrink, you're meant to soar. Rise up, claim the life you adore. There's more that matters, oh so much more. You can rise in your career and still keep your core. Together we'll find joy, we'll discover relief. Into a career, into a life that you earned. Feel the fire inside and let the passion return. Remember why you're here, remember your worth. You are worthy, you are enough since your birth. Love yourself first, let the love flow through, and watch as the rearranges for you. You were never meant to shrink, you're meant to soar. Rise up, claim the life you adore. There's more that matters, oh so much more. You can rise in your career and still keep your this road alone, my friend. Let's do this together. Let this journey transcend. I love you. I believe in your light. Together we'll rise into